All right. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Uh, Thank you for visiting my channel. Uh, I get a little screen shy or camera shy or stage fright, so I brought my wife on for some emotional support. Uh, Say hi, Skylar.
Hi, I'm Skylar.
This is my beautiful wife. She's 14 weeks pregnant.
Yep.
We're going to find out in a couple of days if it's a boy or girl. Please, I apologize about like the lighting in here. It's frying my eyes in here, and it's next time I'll do this during the day. But anyways, yeah. So I am on here just to give a quick, brief overview on some of the stuff that I'm going to be doing. I got a few questions that I wrote down here for myself, just so y'all can get a little feeling on how this thing's done or what I'm doing. All right. So what's the first question?
The first question is, what made you start?
Well, I've been watching a lot of these YouTube videos, which many of you probably have been doing too. And yeah, I've been watching a lot of them. I've been watching a lot of people having to create account after account after account, just to be able to have an opinion. And so the first video that actually got me interested in this stuff was a video from a guy named Out of the Darkness, and he did one on Doug Tenaple when Doug Tenaple's son got a strike, and he was going to go to war with YouTube. And then at the end of that video, I'll leave the link in the description. On that video, at the very end, it was Mr. Out of the Darkness that was saying, "Hey, just get on YouTube, 90 seconds. It doesn't matter. Speak your mind. We got to do it. It's America." So that really got me thinking. That yeah, you know what? Maybe it is time that we talk a little more and discuss these things. But the most recent one, the call to action that I got today was Mr. Sweet Home Maricopa. I'll leave his information in the link in the description also. But I have a fond relationship with Arizonians and Arizona. We live next to Arizona, actually pretty close. We live in a little small town called Boulevard, California. It's a cute little town east of San Diego, almost halfway, about a third of the way through California going east. Yeah, where the hell is Boulevard?
And you might be asking, where in the hell is Boulevard?
So I can also leave a link in the description for a pin on a map or something like that if people want. But look it up, Boulevard, California 91905. But anyways, back to Sweet Home Maricopa. I've seen that he's been able to kind of be a trooper in this whole thing, and he's been able to leave links in the description so people can go look for things themselves. And I definitely think it's more important now than ever that people inform themselves. Because now a lot of the ways that we trust information are really just entertainers. There are people that are putting on a show and performing towards a certain audience, and that type of public trust is kind of diminished. And yeah, it's important that Americans exercise our rights, especially on a place like YouTube where this is a public forum. This is a place where even the most egregious and the most brilliant and the most controversial ideas need to be discussed in a public forum. And if they don't, we're at a point in history now where the state has the tools and has the means and the ways to offer us management of our freedoms. And it's important that we push back and we let these platforms and these state actors and our government know that these are our rights and they're encroaching and they're overreaching. And we've really got to be able to exercise our rights on this platform and be able to make those things expressive in the digital world, because it's the Wild West, and what we're probably seeing is the horrors of 20 years ago when people were like, "Oh, there's going to be a war over the internet." Well, it's probably happening right now, and it's happening with the speech that we speak and the discourses that we have, and yeah, so here I am. I'm going to, yeah. So that's kind of where and why I'm doing this. And one of the most important other things I was going to say was on Out of the Darkness's video, the first one I watched. He said that for every one of us that gets canceled for speaking our mind, there needs to be 100 of us that replaces it. So, I'm here to be a brother in arms, and I hope that I can get other Americans to get up and stand up. We got to stand up for our rights, and we got to fight for what's right, and not so much against what's wrong, but for what's right. So
yes, very well said, honey.
I mean, how much time do I spend on this stuff, Skylar?
It's quite a lot of time. Yes.
A lot of the stuff that's going on in America means a lot to me, and
Absolutely.
and if we as Americans don't start, putting in the extra time, which even if we don't want to, even if we don't want to put in the extra time to have to deal with this type of crap, I mean, it's just that there are smug, people that are state agents, working for government who really do feel that they get a waiver in a pass when it comes to breaking the rule of law, and the most important thing is that they feel entitled to our trust as if we owe our trust to them. And it's it's definitely time that we all as Americans start sharing our ideas on this platform, because if we don't, they're going to start suggesting that some of these ideas are dangerous, and we don't need to be sharing these ideas. And it's it's not their business, and but it is our business as Americans to interact with each other, and be able to share risky ideas, and be able to have discourse and disagreements and arguments, and conflict and resolution. So yeah, I'm really hoping that even if one other American sees this, and maybe it gives you the courage, and maybe gives you the motivation to say, screw it, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So I'm really camera shy, but I'll get over it. But yeah,
You're doing good, honey.
I don't know.
You're
I don't
doing
know if
great.
I am. I don't know.
You are. So, what are some of the most important topics?
So right now, some of the most important topics. I don't want to tell you too much about my, upbringing and my, reputation, my past. But what I will tell you is I'm a native born and raised Californian. We both are, and one of the biggest things that I'm trying to raise awareness of right now is the recall election that's going to be on September 14th. And that is the biggest topic that is really on me right now. Another thing is current events. Being able to just be able to have, a couple of, have a couple of angles on some of these current events, and make sure and be aware of, these things that are happening day in, day out. I mean, there's just so much information out there that it's definitely important to, maybe pick a handful of topics and, go with those. But definitely California, what's going on in the recall election. That's real big. Another topic that I'm very interested in is the audits that are going on. These are real. These are really happening. And, it's unfortunate that, for all the stuff that's happened in the recent amount of years, and we can have that discussion on a different time and a different show, but for all the things that have happened, over the years, it's, how dare the government, and big tech, try to silence anyone who dares question, not so much legitimacy, but verification, of an election. And it's their job to provide these things in a professional and and caring manner. And so that's another big thing I want to talk about is some of this election stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on with it, and some of the stuff is state to state. But I think us as Americans, we need to be aware, and we need to have some sort of discussion about what's really going on with this voter stuff, because I definitely think that on one side they're vilifying the other side, which 70% is rightfully. But there's a little bit of stuff, with some of this voting rights that, there is some legitimate room for discussion and concern. So voting rights is another thing. Another big thing is the border. If you look up Boulevard, we're a very, very, very small border town. you know, and so the border stuff affects us. The law enforcement that we choose to use in our town is predominantly border patrol. I mean, how many times have you called border patrol? When something spooky was out in our yard.
Yeah. They're
You
they're
know,
always there, and the thing about our small town is you don't call the cops. If there's something going on, you call border patrol because they'll be here like that.
like that. And so that's yeah. So the border stuff is and I've got some pretty interesting views on the border. Uh, I'm born and raised San Diego boy. The mixing of these two cultures and ethnicities is baked in to who I am, especially as a Southern Californian. I'm very snobby and proud of my Mexican food. And yeah, but the border stuff, we will discuss another time. That'll be for another show. Let's see some other topics, and maybe some other topics are just current events and personal experience. Just being able to share things that are going on in our lives that are really important, and maybe being able to share other cool things. Like, for example, I have a cousin that's in a band with my youngest sister, actually. And they've been putting out music, man. They got some groovy music. So we'll be doing music also. We'll be discussing things like culture and and different aspects of different class in America and how times have changed. And but yeah, so these are the, I want to talk about things that have nothing to do with individual identification, but more something that we can all identify with, something that we all have in common with. So, but yeah. So these are some of the topics.
Absolutely. So moving on to the next question here, what channels do you watch?
So what channels do I watch? So I try to mix it up. I'm not gonna lie. I myself can separate theater and news, and so I'll still watch CNN from here and there. Fox News. Some of the stuff I can source, they're pretty good about sourcing their material, and they're pretty good about, citing their sources and whatnot. But I really like Ben Shapiro. He's fair. Sometimes he's a little too cucky for me. Sometimes he's just a little too, I don't want to say white, but he's just a little too basic and vanilla for me sometimes. So I like Ben Shapiro. For rhetoric and opinion, I really like Tim Pool, Tim Cast. Another person that that I can listen to and disagree with, and I would love to argue with one day is Vosh. Vosh is a young, he's a young progressive liberal, or he calls himself I think it's a libertarian socialist is what he calls himself. So, he comes with reason, he comes with fact, and for the most part, he's fair. I don't agree with everything, but I like to be challenged in a lot of my stuff. So, with some of the other channels, I used to watch Bahizi. I don't know where he went. I kind of get confused on some of the other platforms. I'll find him again. I watch Liz Harris. Let's see here. I watch a whole bunch of them. Political Hub, Finance Hub. I watch all those guys. American News Network is another one that I like to watch. And I just want to let everyone know that I understand the phonetics and I understand what the balloons are, and I totally dig the lingo, man, and it's really cool. It's really cool seeing people being able to be part of this resistance and still get the message across and use these abstract ways to discuss things. By calling something that starts with a B and ends with the Alex balloons. So it's so yeah, I totally dig it. Keep on rocking, and what I'll tell you is I'm really excited to be part of this movement. Thank you, everyone and anyone that is taking the time out to just watch this. It's an introductory thing, but I'll tell you what. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be a good American, express my rights.
Absolutely. So this is going to bring us into our last question here. What services of info do you use?
Oh, it's sources. Yeah. So
Sources.
for me, I usually use, and I'll get better at it. That's a good question. If I need to go to a raw data source, then I will. Although what I use for sources of information are, citing from anything that's credible. Ben Shapiro sources The Blaze, also sorts and cites very well. I really like using materials which are very blatant about their sources. So usually I'll go with some of the between the left wing and the right wing. It just seems to me that the right leaning media outlets are a little bit more grounded to reality than some of the left ones are. I definitely have a few trusted sources, and I will formulate a way to make sure that I have all my sources, from linkable and whatnot. So, but I'll tell you what, I wanted to keep this thing under 20 minutes. But what I do want to talk about today is just real quick is what happened in New York. And I don't know if you know what happened in New York. Do you know what happened in New York today?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, what happened in New York today was that the governor has been under investigation, specifically for sexual harassment. And these allegations came out, about months ago about Andrew Cuomo. And I don't know if you know this, but Andrew Cuomo is the governor of New York. His brother is Chris Cuomo, and Chris Cuomo is a lead anchor on CNN. Yeah.
Wow.
So his brother's a lead anchor on CNN, and and so what's going on is that there have been some questions regarding some of the practices and decisions Governor Andrew Cuomo did during the beginning days of the pandemic, and those allegations. That's a separate thing to talk about. Was those allegations had led to reports of whistleblowers and people claiming misconduct, in his office. A lot of female workers were saying that he was getting too touchy-feely, and they're saying that he was doing things that made him feel very comfortable. He's kind of being a sleazebag, in office. So the Attorney General in the state of New York did an investigation on Andrew Cuomo, and the investigation came out today. And you can look it up on any news platform you want. It's there's not much defense to it. But long story short was that some of his questionable decisions during the coronavirus led to the opening of these sexual harassment investigations. And now, with that said, everyone from our president Joe Biden, all the way to Nancy Pelosi, who's the House of Representatives majority, to Chuck Schumer, who is the Senate majority. These are the two top senators and Democrats in the country. Along with a majority of the Democrats, the legislature in New York, are calling for Cuomo to not only resign, but if he does not resign, that he's going to get impeached. And there's even one lawmaker that is calling for him to be prosecuted and arrested, on these sexual harassment charges. And you know what? Serves him right. Serves him right. This is the 21st century. This is the 21st century. I'm not trying to say that this is okay in the 70s or 80s or 90s or before, but this isn't the 70s or 80s or 90s where these things are newly being enforced. We should have an equal respect for each other's ability in a professional environment, especially something as important and powerful as government. And it's time for him to resign. And with that said, you won't believe who is running for governor right now. So it's Rudy Giuliani's son.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Rudy Giuliani's son is running for governor.
Wow.
And so, it's and I'll be honest, I don't think that this whole thing with Andrew Cuomo, regarding the mistreatment of female workers, and I'm telling you, it's bad stuff. I believe there was one of them. There was a state trooper. She was especially assigned this detail to work, for the governor, and apparently he was touching her too. Man, that's that is pretty ballsy. It's pretty arrogant. You know, yeah, but I really think that the most important thing is, I would really love to see not only Andrew Cuomo, but some more politicians be investigated and maybe scrutinized and criticized for their roles in the pandemic. This is something that was not talked about, and this is something that is historical fact now. But Trump really delegated a lot of that power very well. He delegated a lot of the emergency authorities and powers to the governors when COVID first hit, and that was a smart thing to do because out of this, I really feel that we've been able to expose some really bad governors, people that maybe should not be in leadership positions, and it's been able to expose the true potential of leadership in some good governors. I mean, look what's going on with Ron DeSantis, in Florida. I mean, he's become a superstar. I mean, he was able to manage this situation, and so I definitely think that no matter what side you lean on or whatnot, I definitely think the time has come for us as America to maybe have some legit scrutinization of the people who managed state by state these governors. And with that said, I will point back to California. And for anyone that's watching this, if you're not from California, you can, that's fine. Please be interested. Please, here's one thing that a lot of the left and the Democrats have been getting behind, is that they've been saying that, this recall election in California, it could have wide, it could have a wide effect on the rest of the nation, as far as the implications. And so they're correct. They're very correct. And I also would challenge and entice every Californian to, ask yourself, I mean, if at any time, you've ever wanted to try an experiment, a California experiment, of getting someone into office for just a year. And that's what this is, because next year we're going to vote on a new governor, no matter what. I mean, these guys come up for election. And what I would tell you is this, is that if you are here in California, I challenge you and encourage you, and I hope and wish that you, take this opportunity to vote in this recall election and, give a big middle finger and an F you to the system, because it doesn't matter. I mean, we're feeling the struggle together. And to be honest, this political party who's been in charge of this state, I mean, they haven't destroyed their competition. They've just enslaved it and dominated it to a point where it doesn't compete with them, and nor do they have to compete with vice versa. And it's a political aristocracy. It's almost a who's who, wealth's wealth in California of a political family. And the state of the state isn't good right now. And I would challenge every single American or every single Californian to get out there September 14th. And, and if you don't like any one of these 40 some odd, I think there's 46 now is what I heard, 46 candidates. If you don't like any of them, it doesn't matter. Then just don't fill it out. But at least go down there and say, yeah, you know what, let's change this governor out. Because, man, we could really use a change of pace in the state, and, we're kind of at the last spot here in California ourselves, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
We her and I were both born and raised, here in Southern California. I mean, we're California kids, and I mean, it's so hard to live here, and we're struggling.
Especially now.
It's hard, and I really hope we do what California is known for doing, which is having that progressive edge and that forward thinking of, okay, you know what, let's try it out because I mean, this guy that's in right now, Newsom, I don't want to blame him for everything, but I mean, it's got to be some of the worst years of mismanagement and fires here. I mean, we live up in the mountains, and they'll shut our power off for days. I mean, they'll shut it off for days. So,
days, if not weeks.
Yeah, I mean, this really happens. So, the mismanagement of the fire, and I think the biggest thing that really concerns me, as a Californian, and you've seen this as a Californian, is our homeless problem, and it's sad. It's sad, and sometimes it breaks my heart to know that, we're so climatized to this stuff that, we don't care enough to walk by our brothers and sisters in this country while we're walking to our $1 million condo in a downtown area, and we just walk by someone who is just struggling, whether it's it's mental health, whether an actual illness, or whether it's a drug addiction. These are our countrywomen, and it's so bad here in California, and it's scary. It's scary to see humanity in this manner, and I can only pray. I can only pray that we can get back to the day where, when we see our brothers and sisters on the street, maybe we stop and we actually care, and we actually want to see something done for these people, because they're the most vulnerable in our society. They're the most vulnerable, and it's so conflicting in the 21st century that now, after we've made all these tools, the internet, satellites, the Space Force, all these things, but we still can't help out our fellow brother and sister that's struggling on the road with some sort of illness or addiction. It's sad. So, there's a lot of there's a lot of things that are being mismanaged in this country, and I would challenge and entice all my fellow Californians. I don't care how you lean, if you're a socialist or a right wing, or if you're this or you're that, or you hang out with only these people, or you love everyone, or you don't like anyone. Let's get out and rock the fucking system, man, and let's get out there and vote. At least get this guy in office, and let's do a California experiment, man. Let's try this. Let's try to pick from these other 41 candidates. And, and the other thing, I'll leave a link in the description, is a link to the website for the recall election information from the CA.gov. I think it's important right now. Us as Californians, I hate to ask us to do this, but we have to spend our personal time. We have to spend our extra time, because it's so jacked up and it's so screwed up that it's going to require our attention and our love that we shouldn't have to give to the state. It's them who should be serving us, and unfortunately, it's going to require our attention. It doesn't require a lot, but just a little. Just enough to at least fill out a ballot and say, yeah, you know what, screw this guy. Sorry, man. You just didn't cut it for COVID or whatever. So, that is my last thing I wanted to talk about. I'm almost at 30 minutes, a little bit farther than I wanted to. But, please leave me some sort of feedback. We're doing this on my wife's phone. The next time I'll be doing this is from my laptop. I'll be doing it with my cam, and I've got like a really nice a blue microphone that so yeah, I'm going to try to do one of these every day is what I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to do it from my computer, not my phone. So thank you very much, and I will try to, drop a little bit of news and links and descriptions in the...
If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up, and leave us a comment down below, and let us know what you think of the video.
Yeah, and next time I'll do some current events. And, maybe the last thing I'll do is just so everyone gets to know who I am and, my backgrounds and some of the things that are important to me and some of my life stuff. Maybe I'll have someone interview me, here and there. And I can talk about some of the things that, come from my reasons or not. But thank you very much for watching this. Stay sharp. Keep your head in a swivel. And, don't let them walk away scot-free. All right.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching.